This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Ghimire with the news. The headlines first. Prime Minister Shehbadu Dewa and main opposition party CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli discuss contemporary political issues. Impeachment Recommendation Committee called suspended Chief Justice Jolendra Samser Jabara for interrogation on 31st of August. Nepal and Bangladesh to sign energy trade agreement, and 22 civilians killed and more than 50 injured in Ukraine in a Russian attack on a train station. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Shehbadu Dewa and CPN-UML chair KP Sharma Oli held a meeting at Balwatar yesterday. CPN-UML Vice Chair Subhas Nemwang, who participated in the meeting, informed that they discussed matters related to the upcoming elections of the House of Representatives and Province Assemblies, the bill on the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and Commission on Inquiry into Disappeared Persons. Leader Nemwang further said that discussion also featured the citizenship bill sent to the Parliament by the President and the rising price hike. On the occasion, Prime Minister Dewa said he had taken the issues raised by Chairman Oli positively and would discuss them in the ruling coalition's meeting as well. Ambassadors from various countries met CPN-UML Chairman KP Sharma Oli at the party office at Jassal yesterday to discuss the government's efforts on amending laws related to transitional justice. The U.S. Ambassador to Nepal, Randy Berry, along with the British Ambassador to Nepal, Nicola Pollitt, and ambassadors from Australia and the European Union met Chairman Oli and inquired about his party's stand on the laws related to transitional justice. They voiced their concerns that the international community wanted to see the effective role of CPN-UML in the parliament to ensure transitional justice provision as per Nepal's commitment to the international community and forums. In reply, Chairman Oli said the CPN-UML wished to see the completion of the necessary process in the Parliament while amending some laws related to the transitional justice. The Impeachment Recommendation Committee of the House of Representatives has decided to call suspended Chief Justice Jolendra Samser Janga Bahadur Rana for interrogation on the 31st of August. The committee's meeting held yesterday also decided to publish a public notice calling for registering information and filing complaints against the suspended Chief Justice. Likewise, the committee has approved the internal work procedure and schedule for the task. As per the approved schedule, people can file complaints or provide information regarding the conduct of the suspended Chief Justice by the 28th of August. On the 31st of August, the suspended Chief Justice will be called for interrogation, and on the 4th of September, the committee will submit its report. Home Minister Balkrishna Khan has said the government is attentive to resolve the increasing complexity to handle and control crimes, especially of the new and different nature. Inaugurating the Valley Crime Investigation Review meetings organized in Kathmandu yesterday, Home Minister Khan said the government was committed to ensuring the protection of people's physical safety and their property. The Home Minister stressed the need for coordination among the three tiers of the government to prevent crimes. He also vowed to provide resources for the enhancement and capacity building of the security bodies. The Home Minister added that the government was effortful to conclude the peace process and bring all into national mainstream. Nepal and Bangladesh have agreed to reach an energy trade agreement. A meeting of the Joint Working Group and Steering Committee on Power Cooperation between Nepal and Bangladesh agreed to move ahead with an energy trade agreement between the two countries. Nepal's talk team leader, Joint Secretary Madhu Kumar Petwal, informed that the agreement process would be forwarded after the finalization of the agreement modality on Thursday, that is, today's meeting. Joint Secretary Petwal added that both sides also agreed to talk to India for the cross-border energy trade between Nepal and Bangladesh. Yesterday's meeting further discussed the matters of other trade agreements and investment in Nepal's hydropower sector. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Time for a short break now.
भाउजू दर्शन
भाग्यमानी बाबु राम्ररी आइपुग्नु भयो नि
हजुर राम्ररी पुगे उ चाहिँ मेरो कलेजको बेस्ट फ्रेन्ड
नमस्ते भाउजू
नमस्ते आउनु न भित्रै
हुन्छ भाउजू
अनि दादा त अफिस गइसक्नु भयो होला है
उहाँ त बिहानै हो हुन्छ तपाईहरु फ्रेस हुँदै गर्नु न म खाना तयार गर्दै गर्छु है
हस् भाउजू
ओए वाइफाई होला नि पासवर्ड माग्न
त पनि एनटीसी को सस्तो डे प्याक छदैछ नि
ए हो र
एनटीसी को डे प्याक लिन *1415# डायल गर्न
Nepal Telecom राष्ट्रको संचार
You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. On to more news now. Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, Jivan Ram Shrestha, has said Newa culture and heritage should be conserved for attracting tourists. Speaking at a program organized by the umbrella organization of the Newar community in Kathmandu yesterday, Minister Shrestha shared that a heritage trail would be set up from Hanuman Thoka to Swayambhu area. He added that the ministry had prioritized the conservation of the cultural heritages of the Kathmandu Valley. The Election Commission has asked for applications from the national organizations interested to observe the upcoming provincial and federal elections. Issuing a notice yesterday, the Commission asked the organizations to submit applications with necessary documents within the next 15 days. According to the notice, the organizations that were involved in the election observation in previous elections would not be allowed to participate in the process if their election observation report was not submitted. The Election Commission has already called for applications from the international organizations for election observation. Minister for Energy, Water, Resources and Irrigation, Pampa Pusal, has said that the right to inclusion established in the Constitution is only for a certain period of time. Speaking at a program organized by the All Nepal National Free Student Union Revolutionaries Central Women's Department in Kathmandu yesterday, she said the rights granted to women were for capacity building for a certain period of time. After that, the work and benefits would be provided based on merit and not reservation. Minister Pusal emphasized on the need to institutionalize fundamental rights, including the implementation of free and compulsory education envisaged in the Constitution. Also speaking at the Tej festival event, CPN Maui Center Standing Committee member Onsari Ghartimagar said that communists should celebrate Tej as a festival to expand consciousness for social transformation. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. On to some international updates now. A Russian rocket strike on a Ukrainian train station has killed at least 22 people, Ukraine says, on the day marking 6 months since Moscow's invasion began. The attack took place in the eastern town of Chaplin, and all the deceased were civilians. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced the strike in the middle of a UN Security Council meeting. He said about 50 people were injured. Russia has so far not made no comment. It has repeatedly denied targeting civilian infrastructure. Thailand's top court has suspended Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-o-cha from official duty while it considers a legal challenge to his term limit. Opposition parties have filed a case arguing that Prayuth, in charge since 2014, has overstayed his tenure. Thailand's constitution limits prime ministers to 8 years in office. The ex-army chief first seized power in the 2014 military coup and then retained office in 2019 under a heavily restricted election. However, in recent years, he has been facing growing opposition and backlash within his own coalition. Now, the general weather forecast for the country for today. According to the Meteorological Forecasting Division, the weather will be partly to generally cloudy in the hilly regions of the country and partly cloudy to mainly fair in the rest of the country. Light to moderate rain with thunder and lightning is likely to occur at a few places of Bagmati Province, Gandaki Province and Lumini Province, and at 1 or 2 places in the rest of the country. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin, but before wrapping up, let's have a reminder of the headlines once again. Prime Minister Shahbaz Dewa and main opposition party CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli discussed contemporary political issues. Impeachment Recommendation Committee called suspended Chief Justice Jolendra Samser Jabara for interrogation on 31st of August. Nepal and Bangladesh to sign energy trade agreement, and 22 civilians killed and more than 50 injured in Ukraine in a Russian attack on a train station. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin. Our next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Also do check our English news portal at www.onlineradionepal.gov.np/English. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.